Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to look at a few examples of dividend growth from a few of the stocks I own in my portfolio or in one of my accounts, and just a couple of names just to show how much the dividend's grown over the past few years. We'll get right into it. So we're going to start with CNQ, Canadian Natural Resources. What you're going to see is, let's go back to about 2020. We had 220 shares here. Then we boosted our holding to 300 shares. And what we're going to basically find out now is over here we had $140 dividend on our 300 shares. This is quantity over here. Canadian dollars, but as you can see, the dates in 2021, 2022. First thing we'll see, we jumped from 140 for the 300 shares, and in 2022, as coming out of the COVID pandemic, strengthening oil prices, we jumped by about 35 bucks, so 176. Now you're going to see my quantity fall. Can't remember the reason I sold. I probably had made massive gains during, I think the stock doubled or tripled. So I probably took some profits off the table and reinvested somewhere else. You got to have some discipline. And the thing kept going higher. So I'm not kicking myself. I'm just basically knowing that I have to be prudent. So what happens here now in August, dividends are normally every 3 months. October, January, April, July. This August one was a special dividend. For tax purposes, you're going to see it says Canadian dividend eligible. We have another video on that. It's been popular. So we had a $300 special dividend, but then you can see come October and our regular dividend schedule, we went back to the 157 bucks, and then it got increased to 178, and then a couple of months ago 189. So you're seeing the dividends go up in value here. So that's the lesson. We'll go to another stock. Same thing, we're going to go to 2019 TD Bank. So pre-COVID, the banks were always raising their dividends, and the government said during the pandemic, we're not going to let you raise them, even though you pretty much have a 200-year history of doing so. So our original 100 shares here of TD Bank, $67, grew to $74. We see January of 2020, the $74 was the last time. Then it bumped to $79 right over here. So, but then the pandemic had started, then that's where the government stepped in, said banks are too important to the economy, we're going to hold the dividend. TD wanted to raise their dividends, the government of Canada did not allow them. We have this contra entry negative. I think that was just a journal entry, shows up 3 times, something to do with the brokerage account. But fast forward to 2022, those 100 shares have now gone from $79 to $89. When the government allowed that to restart, and $96. So from when you go from almost $80 to 96, that's about a 20% increase within that year. So that's pretty good. And then the last example we'll give is Suncor. This one I got hurt on. I had it before the pandemic. Oil went negative. I suffered. They cut their dividend. So when we pick up here, they had cut their dividend. I was getting $84. It was probably $160 before that. But then we picked up a few more shares. Probably we sold from CNQ is what I'm thinking, and then shifted it to Suncor, which actually worked out bad for me because Suncor still went up, but CNQ went up way more. But anyways, so we start with this $126 dividend. All of a sudden it goes to 210, and I have 100 less shares over here. So I probably took some profits. But the dividend had gone up. So now you see 300 shares, $126 in dividend. Back then they restored their dividend, which was cut in half. So that's why you're seeing these numbers. But let's go more recently. Now you're going to see the 126 jumps to 141, then 156. As of a couple of weeks ago, June 2023, that $30 increase is, 25%. But they look to be going to give it another boost. So this will show you the power of dividend growth. You can own the same amount of shares, you can increase your shares. As long as those dividends are growing, that's going to put a floor, I guess, on the price, and you'll continue to make money. Thanks very much. We'll talk soon.